Hello, this is Gene Irwin, the founder of the 3D Business Launch Model. And in this particular video and podcast, we're going to talk to you about why starting a business is the wrong goal. The 3D Business Launch Model introduces the 3D Business Launch Model and why starting a business is the wrong goal, and explaining to you and introducing your ultimate guide to starting your own home-based business. You have been wanting to start your own business for quite some time. Problem is, that's the wrong goal. Before you reach for the delete button, hear me out. We all have a tendency to start things, most of which don't get finished, at least not in the best quality possible. Stating your objective as starting a business is on par with I'm going to college. That too is also the wrong goal. Let me prove it to you. The reason why starting a business is the wrong goal, as featured in this podcast and YouTube video, is because it's doomed to fail. Everybody starts something and then stops it. Here are some examples. Our daughter is the first person from our family to go to college. Our son decided after high school to start a soft drink vending route. What did you think of when you heard someone say he or she is the first person from our family to go to college? Yep, it's like that. Something is missing. They think their goal is to go to college. It's not. Let's look at the success rate of doing that, because you and I can think of several people who went to college and failed. Oh, I don't mean they failed in their courses with bad grades, although some do. But they failed to set the proper goal, and in so doing, set themselves up to fail. So, what is the proper goal for going to college? Simple. Go to college and graduate. The entire purpose and creation of the 3D Business Launch Model is to explain to you how to create and develop the only three major ways to start a business. These include a startup, an acquisition, and buying a franchise. Each of these ways to create and run a business require different talents, abilities, and various amounts of money and staff. And they require different amounts of passion, insight, inspiration, and effort. For more than 35 years, I've worked with several high-tech companies and evaluated over 3,000 companies to help acquire them for investors. That process is known as the mergers and acquisitions market and entails a lot of investigation, not only of the company, industry, market, and its potential for the future, but also the people who created it and the people who run it. It also requires something called an analysis of the fair market value of the business. That's an intense evaluation of the performance of the company based on its financial numbers and history. I've written a book about that process, which you can find on Amazon and Forbes books, entitled The Secret of Exiting Your Business. In addition to the mergers and acquisitions process stated above, I've created businesses, bought franchises, sold franchises, bought software companies, and helped to take 3 companies public through the IPO process. By doing so, I helped to create more than $275 million in sales and contracts. I also have certifications of a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, an MS work in mechanical engineering, thermodynamics, and as a nuclear scientist. In my humble opinion, those credentials qualify me to be an expert in advising you and other people to understand what it takes to create a successful and profitable business, especially in explaining in detail the process of creating your own home-based business. So, how do we do that? How do we create a successful and profitable business? Well, there are only 3 ways I know how to do that. It's something I've coined some years ago as the 3D Business Launch Model, or 3D BLM for short. It's actually pretty simple and obvious when you consider you can A. Start from scratch and create a successful and profitable start of a business. B. Acquire a business to improve its success through a profitable acquisition. Or C, adopt a proven strategy in a territory and buy a well-known franchise. My friend, regardless of how you work through the questions of which direction you want to take, there are 4 very big hurdles to get past if you are to create, succeed, and profit. Number 1, how long is this going to take? Number 2, how much will it cost to build and sustain? Number 3, can I do all this myself? Or can I afford to get expert help? And number 4, which business model should I pick? Startup, acquisition, or franchise? The mergers and acquisition development model. For acquisitions, in other words, purchasing, in this introduction of the course development, let's assume you're in a position to acquire a going concern of a business which will cost between $10,000 and $10 million. Believe it or not, the acquisition steps are almost identical in both small and large price range companies. A key element in the acquisition model is to learn about and understand in detail the concept mentioned earlier of the fair market value. Basically, it means understanding that what the seller is selling is usually not what the buyer is buying. I want you to see my comments in the video shown in the information below, and that's called What's Your Business Worth? Fair Market Value. You can find it on the 3D Business Launch Model video catalog. The franchise development model. Building a business through a proven franchise model is the one most likely to succeed. It's kind of like being the most likely kid in high school to grow up, but not necessarily the most profitable one for you. Let me say that again. Even though you buy a franchise, it may not be the most profitable choice for you. We'll talk about that later in something called the FDD, or the Franchise Disclosure Document, required by all franchise companies to send that to you, and the complexities of owning a franchise. But many people choose this route. I want you to see my comments in the video 3D BLM Franchise Development. It's also available to you free at either Gene H. Irwin or the 3D Business Launch Model video series. The Startup Development Model. Similar to going to college, most startup business models have a very high risk of failure, but the key is to know how and when it goes off the rails. We will now focus on some of those areas first, because the things which tend to cause business failures is actually easier to spot and in some cases overcome in startup models, rather than have to change the culture of a newly acquired company, new division, new franchise in order to solve the problem. I've created a video for that, obviously, how to succeed, in other words, how your business succeeds, details of how to grow, also available to you in 3D BLM launch model products, or you can find it at Gene H. Irwin in the video series there. The final chapter of the 3D Business Launch Model, and which company to start, whether it's going to be an acquisition, whether it's going to be a startup or a franchise, is the following. Why do businesses fail? Here are some of the more common reasons why businesses fail. Number 1, lack of client loyalty due to the ease of availability of what they perceive to be resources on the internet. Number 2, failure to adequately market their products and or services via technology and online availability. Number 3, increased competition and or lack of something called unique value proposition. We'll discuss that later in another video. Number 4, lack of marketing and focus on the customer's issues and needs amid rapid change. Number 5, uncertainty in state and federal regulations. Number 6, the company doesn't understand SWOT, S-W-O-T, in other words, its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Number 7, doesn't know how to generate a new client, doesn't understand customer leads and manages something called cost per lead, or CPL. Number 8, staffing isn't strategically planned far in advance of anticipated growth. Number 9, undercapitalized. In other words, not enough money, cash, credit lines for long-term growth. Number 10, the market has changed and company fails to keep up. Think Sears, Kmart, Toys R Us, etc. And finally, number 11, the reason companies fail is that the cash flow management is neglected. Well, my friend, I've thrown a lot at you in this introduction, which talks about the pitfalls of being self-employed. Send us an email or give us a call so you'll have a free access to several videos which solve most of these problems for you and may help you determine which course of action may be most beneficial to you and your family in your very own home-based business, and something called Creation of a Successful and Profitable Business. This is Gene Irwin, founder of the 3D Business Launch Model, introducing to you the process of your own home-based business. You can reach me at ghigfac@aol.com or give us a call at 1-800-750-8767, and you can find us also on our website at https://ghigac.wixsite.com/Gene Irwin Consults. And finally, be sure to add your email at the front of this video to receive the rest of this PDF report and all the information we'd like to provide to you for free. This is Gene Irwin, founder of the 3D Business Launch Model, hoping you have a great evening.